Wiring diagrams are essential for understanding and implementing electrical systems. Firstly, let's consider low-voltage motion sensor lights with three-way switches. These diagrams illustrate how to connect the motion sensor switches and light fixture to ensure proper operation. They are commonly used in residential and commercial settings to provide energy-efficient lighting solutions. You can find examples of these diagrams in the Home Depot and Wayfair websites, which provide some examples of low-voltage motion sensor lights that may show more details than some generic references might show. Secondly, we'll examine wiring diagrams for motors and controls, specifically focusing on stop/start circuits. These diagrams are crucial for understanding how to control electric motors in various applications. A typical stop/start circuit includes the start button, a stop button, a motor starter, and overload protection. When the start button is pressed, the motor starter energizes and the motor begins to run. The stop button energizes the motor starter, stopping the motor. For more information, you can reference electronics tutorials and Schneider Electric's resources on motor control circuits and wiring diagrams. These sites provide detailed explanations and examples of motor starter circuits. Next, let's explore wiring diagrams for low-voltage card readers. These diagrams are used to connect card readers to access control systems. A typical card reader system includes the card reader, a controller, and an electric door strike. When a valid card is presented to the reader, the controller unlocks the door strike, allowing access. HID Global and Honeywell provide wiring diagrams and technical documentation for their card reader products. These diagrams are essential for installing and maintaining access control systems. Lastly, we'll investigate wiring diagrams for door strikes. Door strikes are electromechanical devices that control access to doors. Wiring diagrams for door strikes show how to connect the strike to a power supply and an access control system. When the system is activated, the door strike releases, allowing the door to be opened. ASSA ABLOY and OMEC offer wiring diagrams and installation guides for their electric door strike products. These resources provide detailed instructions for proper installation and operation. When working with wiring diagrams, it's crucial to understand the symbols and conventions used. Diagrams typically include symbols for various components such as resistors, capacitors, switches, and motors. These symbols are standardized to ensure that diagrams are easily understood by electricians and technicians. Additionally, wiring diagrams often use color codes to indicate the function of each wire. For example, black wires typically represent the hot or live conductor, white wires represent the neutral conductor, and green wires represent the ground conductor. Understanding these color codes is essential for safe and accurate wiring. When implementing wiring diagrams, it's important to follow all applicable electrical codes and safety regulations. These codes and regulations are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. They specify requirements for wiring methods, grounding, overcurrent protection, and other safety measures. Some common electrical codes include the National Electrical Code, or NEC, in the United States, and the Canadian Electrical Code, or SEC, in Canada. These codes are updated regularly to reflect new technologies and best practices. Furthermore, safety regulations often require that electrical work be performed by qualified and licensed electricians. These professionals have the training and experience necessary to safely and correctly install and maintain electrical systems. If you are not a qualified electrician, it's best to consult with one before attempting any electrical work. When working with low-voltage systems, it's still important to take precautions to avoid electrical shock. Even though low-voltage systems operate at lower voltages, they can still deliver dangerous or even lethal shock under certain conditions. Always disconnect the power supply before working on any electrical equipment. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves and safety glasses. Also, be sure to test the circuit to verify that it is energized before beginning work. In addition to safety, it's also important to ensure that the wiring is done correctly to prevent malfunctions and equipment damage. Double check all connections to make sure they are secure and properly insulated. Use the correct wire size for the application to prevent overheating and voltage drop. Also, be sure to protect the wiring from physical damage by using conduit or other protective measures. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical systems are safe, reliable, and efficient. For low voltage motion sensor lights with three-way switches, the wiring diagram will typically show the motion sensor connected to the power source, the light fixture, and the two three-way switches. The three-way switches allow you to control the light from two different locations, while the motion sensor automatically turns the light on when motion is detected. This type of system is commonly used in hallways, stairways, and outdoor areas. When wiring a motor control circuit for stop/start operation, the diagram will show the start and stop buttons connected to the motor starter coil. The motor starter is a relay that controls the power to the motor. When the start button is pressed, the motor starter coil is energized, which closes the contacts and allows power to flow to the motor. When the stop button is pressed, the motor starter coil is de-energized, which opens the contacts and stops the motor. This type of circuit is commonly used in industrial applications to control motors for pumps, fans, and other equipment. For low-voltage card readers, the wiring diagram will show the card reader connected to the access control panel. The access control panel is the brain of the system, which controls the door strike and monitors the status of the door. When a valid card is presented to the card reader, it sends a signal to the access control panel, which then unlocks the door strike and allows the door to be opened. This type of system is commonly used in office buildings, hospitals, and other secure facilities. When wiring a door strike, the diagram will show the door strike connected to the power source and the access control panel. The door strike is an electromechanical device that replaces the standard door latch. When the access control panel sends a signal, the door strike releases, allowing the door to be opened. This type of system is commonly used in conjunction with card readers or other access control devices. Understanding the specific requirements for each type of system is crucial for ensuring proper operation and safety. Always refer to the manufacturer's documentation and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. When selecting components for these systems, it's important to choose products that are compatible with each other and meet the specific needs of the application. For example, when choosing a motion sensor for a lighting system, consider the range, sensitivity, and coverage area of the sensor. When selecting a motor starter for a motor control circuit, consider the voltage, current, and horsepower rating of the motor. When choosing a card reader for an access control system, consider the type of card supported, the read range, and the security features of the reader. By carefully selecting components, you can ensure that the system will operate reliably and meet your expectations. In addition to wiring diagrams and technical documentation, there are many other resources available to help you understand and implement electrical systems. There are many books, websites, and training courses that cover various aspects of electrical wiring and control. These resources can provide you with the knowledge and skills you need to safely and effectively work with electrical systems. It's important to stay up to date on the latest technologies and best practices in the electrical industry. New products and techniques are constantly being developed, and it's important to be aware of them in order to provide the best possible service to your customers. Attending industry conferences and trade shows is a great way to learn about new products and network with other professionals in the field. By continuously learning and improving your skills, you can stay ahead of the curve and provide valuable expertise to your clients. When troubleshooting electrical systems, it's important to have a systematic approach. Start by gathering information about the problem, such as when it occurs, what symptoms are present, and what has changed recently. Then, use a multimeter or other test equipment to check for voltage, current, and continuity in the circuit. Compare your measurements to the expected values to identify any discrepancies. Once you have identified the source of the problem, you can take corrective action, such as replacing a faulty component or repairing a broken wire. Always disconnect the power supply before troubleshooting any electrical equipment. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Also, be sure to follow all applicable electrical codes and safety regulations. With a systematic approach and the right tools, you can effectively troubleshoot and repair electrical systems. In conclusion, wiring diagrams are essential for understanding and implementing electrical systems for low-voltage motion sensor lights, motor controls, card readers, and door strikes. By following the guidelines and resources outlined above, you can ensure that your electrical systems are safe, reliable, and efficient. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns.